How do you start when you don't know where to start? I'm so overwhelmed with all there is to learn that I don't know what to do. So it's really common that when we have a spiritual awakening, when we're first awakening, it can feel a little bit overwhelming because our levels of consciousness are opening up. The things that we're seeing, the way that we see life completely changes, and it can change really quickly. And sometimes I understand that it could be overwhelming. It could be overwhelming because you just feel like it's almost like you were dead before and now you're alive, and you just want to, experience things in a new way. You want to just really feel alive and intake as much information as possible. So I know that it could feel a little bit overwhelming, and I totally understand. And I think the important part about especially the initial phases of awakening is to learn to pace yourself, because a lot of times what happens is the reason that we're feeling overwhelmed too is because of the projections that we're having from our minds or from our egos. Okay, so we're still in a little bit of masculine energy dominance when we awaken. The majority of us are. This is just, we're very heavily templated to be in masculine energy, and masculine energy is the energy of doing, of action, of getting out there, doing more, acquiring more knowledge, more information. These are characteristics of masculine energy. And a lot of times when we awaken, we keep going down the road of that masculine dominance, and we just want to absorb more and more and more and do more and more and more. And a lot of times what I tell people is when they're awakening, one of the great things that we could start doing to really help us go into a spiritual awakening is to start cultivating feminine energy more. Really coming into feminine energy, learning how to stop, learning how to be still, learning how to experience things in a slower way. Things don't have to be rushed. Your spiritual awakening doesn't have to be rushed. And it's okay if you're feeling like there are a million things that you want to learn, or a million things that you want to do, a million things you want to experience. We just do them one at a time anyways, right? Like you can't be experiencing 10 things at the same time. You're experiencing one thing at the same time because each present moment is unique. It's just one thing at a time. And so when it comes to the spiritual awakening, that would be my recommendation, would just be to tone down a little bit, tone down the excessive masculine energy that I could feel in this question, that I could feel the energy. There's a little bit of excessive masculine energy, tone it down, come into that feminine a little bit more, learn to flow with life a little bit more. And what you'll notice is that when you learn to flow with life, when you learn to be in that feminine energy more, things come to you and in due time, when it's time, not 1 minute too soon, not 1 minute too late, okay? So this flowing with feminine energy really will help to kind of calm down the energy a little bit, so that you don't feel so overwhelmed, and so you don't feel like there are 10 different doors and you don't know which one to walk through. Okay, so that's one thing that I think is important in answering this question. The other one is that when we're awakening, sometimes we can start to feel paralyzed because now we're awake and suddenly we start to have this understanding that there's such a thing as the soul, there's such a thing as my soul's path, there's such a thing as what my soul wants, my life mission, my life purpose. When we start to connect with those things, then suddenly we can feel overwhelmed because our minds are saying, well, what decision do I make? Do I go over here, or do I go over there, or do I go over there? What step do I take that's in alignment with my soul? And sometimes that can paralyze us because the mind can say that there's a right answer and a wrong answer. And we need to really know which way to go. Do we go to the right or do we go to the left? One answer is right and one answer is wrong. But that's not true. There is no wrong answer. Your soul is constantly joyfully just enjoying any decision that you make. So if you want to go to the right, if you want to read a specific book, this week I'm going to read this book, or next week I'm going to watch this documentary, or next week I'm going to take a meditation course, whatever it is. I'm just bringing up some examples. But the point here is there's no wrong way to go. There's no wrong path. There's no wrong decision and there's no wrong step. So I feel like it's important to kind of introduce a little bit of because I can feel the energy of this question is there's so many constraints in the energy. And the person's just feeling really, really bogged down energetically. So just free yourself with that feminine energy and then say to yourself, there's no wrong answer and there's no wrong step. I'm just going to take the next step that feels right to me. And I'm just going to go from there to then the next step that feels right for me. And you just go from there, one step at a time. No pressure. There's absolutely no pressure. There is no hurry. There's no rush. You see, I'm kind of giving you a little bit of a feel of what feminine energy feels like, how it's different from masculine, and how when we're having a spiritual awakening, it's so important for us to begin to cultivate that feminine energy, learns how to be still, how to stop, how to go with the flow, how to trust intuition, one step at a time. There are no wrong answers and there are no wrong steps. Okay, so don't be scared about that. Just take a step, whatever it is, whether it's you getting up in the morning and saying, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes today. That's what I'm going to do. That's my plan. And sitting down and meditate. Or maybe you wake up the next day and you say, I'm feeling a really, really big pull to take this online course that I've been looking at. I really want to do that. I think that would be really great. Take the online course. You see, there's no pressure here. There is no pressure. The pressure that we feel during a spiritual awakening is coming from here. Okay, there's no pressure. Everything can be done nice and slowly and smoothly, going with the flow. Sometimes we are accelerated during our spiritual awakening, and sometimes there are a bunch of things happening at the same time, and that's okay. And in those moments, you can still maintain this nice place of peace and calmness, even though there are a bazillion things happening in your life. That's happening to me right now, actually. So I'm answering this question and I'm actually training myself to be more and more present, even when a million things are happening at the same time. It takes a little bit more training, but you can do that. The point here is that don't let yourself be paralyzed by thinking that there is a right answer and a wrong answer and a right step and a wrong step. Just take one step, and what you'll notice is as you're stepping, the universe will start to unfold the path in front of you. So you take another step and the universe unfolds the path, and you take another step, and that's the way it goes. Okay, so I hope this helps. Calm the energy, come more into feminine energy, learn to flow a little bit more, learn to pull back from that excessive masculine energy that always wants to be on the go, and just breathe a little bit more. Everything's going to be okay.